Good morning, Saraswati ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Professor Jain.
Yeah, how are you? All good?
Yeah, I'm good. Good morning to everyone.
Yeah. So happy to see you here on this platform.
Thank you, ma'am, and thanks for invitation.
You are in your office.
No, at home.
Okay, you are at your home, right? Fine. Okay. So I've passed on the presenter to you already. Will you like to look into the slides?
Yeah. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible. Please come to the slideshow mode.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
it
it
is
good
very
now?
much there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good. So please let me introduce the speaker to the participants. They should understand whom they are listening to right now. We have with us Dr. Saraswati Dana. She is a researcher at IBM India Research Lab, Bangalore. She is a key team member in AI reasoning team working on developing reasoning infrastructure for machine question answering. She has published papers in peer-reviewed, reputed international journals, top-tier international AI conferences, and also co-invented 4 US patents. She has received her PhD from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in applied mathematics. Prior to that, she has received her bachelor's and master's degree in chemical engineering from NIT Durgapur and Jadavpur University, Kolkata, respectively. We welcome you, ma'am, and we are waiting to listen to you. So over to you.
Yeah. Thanks, ma'am. Thanks for nice introduction. Very good morning to one and all. Yeah. So before getting into knowledge graphs and knowledge graph question answering, let's see what is our bigger goal here. Our goal here is the way forward with artificial intelligence, right? So I would like to give a brief introduction what is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an umbrella term that refers machine performing various tasks such as problem solving, reasoning, learning, which we previously thought only human could do. So it can be very simple program, as simple as a computer program that uses a set of predefined rules to play checkers. Although nowadays, when we talk about AI, we usually refer more advanced applications, right? So this today I'm going to talk about this artificial intelligence and what is various question answering systems. Then I'll talk about what are benchmark data sets available for question answering systems. Next, I'll talk about knowledge based question answering and various tasks involved, various subtasks involved in this question answering system. That will involve some semantic parsing techniques, which is called abstract meaning representation. I'll talk about that. And then I'll talk about entity linking and relation linking. Finally, we'll talk about what are the various challenges in knowledge graph question answering. Now, you can unmute yourself and can you tell me like how artificial intelligence is different from machine learning? Because we nowadays use these two terms sometimes interchangeably, sometimes without knowing, sometimes knowing. But do we have a clear picture what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning? You can unmute yourself and talk.
Ma'am, AI is the superset of machine learning.
Right. AI is a branch of computer science, and which is a superset of machine learning. So AI basically focuses on designing intelligent agents, and machine learning is a branch of AI which is achieved by designing algorithms that learn from data. So to write an algorithm which to design algorithms which learns from data, we need lot of data so that our machines can learn from that prior knowledge. And what is deep learning? So deep learning is a subfield of machine learning concerned with algorithms inspired by the structure and function of brain called neural networks, right? So that means machine learning is a superset of deep learning. And what are NLP and question answering system? Nowadays, in this era of internet and IoT, all these things, whenever we do some transaction, we are creating a lot of data, right? Every time you book a ticket, you tweet, or you post something in the social media, you are generating a lot of data. And this data are getting generated in unstructured form, right? So to get a useful meaning from this data, we need to process this unstructured data. And there NLP or natural language processing comes into picture to help us there. So what is the goal of NLP? Goal of NLP is to process or understand natural language in order to perform various useful tasks like question answering and various other tasks, right? In information retrieval, paraphrasing, various tasks. Nowadays, without NLP, I mean, it is impossible. So NLP is like subfield of artificial intelligence involving language and linguistics. What are various question answering systems? So these are examples of various question answering systems such as Apple Siri, Wolfram Alpha, IBM's Watson. If you ask certain question, it will give you answer in natural language. What are the various types of questions in modern systems? So question can be many types, right? Question can be either yes, no types, interrogative questions. Secondly, a question can be WH type questions, like it should start with WH. The who, what, where, when, why, etc. And it can also be a multiple choice questions. That means it will have various options. You have to choose out of that. So all these question answering systems, I mean, I'm talking about not human answering the questions. This is for automatic machine question answering, right? So that we can train our machines so that machine can answer any questions. There can also be factoid questions where if we ask certain questions, the answer of that questions is hidden inside the text, whatever given text, right? There is a reading comprehension question answering, right? Whatever we used to have in our childhood, during English exam, they used to give us a passage, and from passage we used to get some questions and we need to find the answer from the given passage. So those are factoid questions. And nowadays modern systems are also available with which can answer a mathematical problem, which can answer a little more complex questions. I'm not able to move the slide, ma'am.
Okay. We are on types of questions in modern systems.
Yeah, so after that, I need to move the slide.
Okay. Previously they were moving and now not.
Yeah.
Please share again.
Yeah.
Slideshow.
Already shared, no?
Slideshow. Yeah, they're moving now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now when we develop a question answering system, there will be a data set available based on which we learn our machine learning algorithms. Okay, we can learn our so that our machine can learn from that available data. So these are some of the benchmark data sets available, and these are the websites where you can get these data sets. Like for reading comprehension, we have Squad dataset, we have Hotpot QA datasets. You can get this from the respective website. Similarly, for knowledge graph question answering, we have this QALD9 dataset, LCQuad1 dataset. There are also open domain question answering and common sense question answering. So common sense question answering means they basically give you the, what are the reasons behind a certain answer, right? When you ask some questions to a small child, if he has already has that common sense, he can answer that correctly. So how machine can gain that common sense? Now we'll talk about knowledge graph question answering. So and one specialty about knowledge graph question answering. So knowledge graph means it will have interconnected objects or nodes by certain relations, right? So so for knowledge graph question answering, the answer will be a set of entities, one entity or a set of entities. Now we'll talk about what is a knowledge graph and various subtasks involved in KGQA systems, and then what are the various approaches to perform KGQA tasks. And then finally, we'll talk about various challenges in KGQA tasks. So these are some of the knowledge graphs, examples of some of the knowledge graphs, such as Google knowledge graph. Actually, Google developed their knowledge graph in 2012, and after that, this DBpedia knowledge graph was developed from whole Wikipedia database. And there are Treebase, Yago, all these knowledge bases, right? So what is a knowledge graph? Knowledge graphs are basically concept, objects, or events that are interlinked with a certain by certain relations. And it's a framework for data integration and unifications. So like here, there is a node, Mr. Avinash Kar, and he is a faculty of MNIT. So the faculty is a relation of is a relation between this institute and this Mr. Avinash Kaur, right? And he's a neighbor of Mr. Ankur. So he owns a car and Ankur drives this car, right? So, the knowledge graphs are basically interlinked concepts that are interlinked by certain relations. And this is a framework for data integration and unification. So why do we need knowledge graph? Knowledge graph is basically a structured knowledge base, right? So that we can, what are the key characteristics of our knowledge base? It can be a database because we can access this graph via structured queries. Any idea what is the query language used to access knowledge graph? I think you already covered.
SPARQL.
Yeah, Sparkle query. Sparkle query is used to access knowledge graphs. And knowledge graphs are also a graph because it can be analyzed as network data structure. And it is also a knowledge base. They have formal semantics and can be used to interpret data and infer new facts. So all knowledge bases are not knowledge graphs, but all knowledge graphs are knowledge bases, right? Knowledge graphs can be represented by resource description framework. I think you are familiar with RDF structure. So RDF is basically subject and predicates are resources and identified by an URI. Objects can be either a resource or a literal value. Here I have given an example of subject and object. These are taken from DBpedia database. So here Abraham Lincoln is married to Merited Lincoln, right? Here predicate will be the, spouse. This Abraham Lincoln is a spouse of Merited Lincoln. And one important thing here in RDF is the subject and objects are identified by universal resource locator. Now, when we talk about question answering in knowledge graph, we access it via this Sparkle query, and you will get this Sparkle. You can access this Sparkle query through this Sparkle public endpoint, DBpedia public endpoint, right? You also can have your own endpoint, a DBpedia endpoint, where you can load whole knowledge graph, right? So there is a certain process where you can load your whole DBpedia knowledge graph in your system. So it's so IBM Watson is a very good example of question answering system. IBM Watson won Jeopardy in February 16, 2011. Jeopardy, you know what is Jeopardy? Any idea what is Jeopardy? Jeopardy is a television game show which features a computer quiz. Okay, and in this quiz, contestants are given a general knowledge clue answer, and contestant has to form their question in the form of answer. Okay. So this mystery author and her archaeologist Habida Hope finding lost Syrian city of Urkes. So this was the clue is given to contestant, right? And he has to frame the questions. Contestant has to frame the questions. So his questions would be, who is Agatha Christie? Is it okay if I would like to play this video of 2 minutes?
Yeah, please go ahead.
In one recruiting season alone, Scalar had more grads join Amazon than from.
We're going to treat you to a short round of Jeopardy. It's going to be hosted by a member of our Jeopardy Clue crew. Please welcome Jimmy McGuire. Gentlemen,
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. What do you say we play Jeopardy? Let's get right into the Jeopardy round. These categories: a man, a plane, a canal, Erie, Chicks Dig Me, children's book titles, My Michelle, MC5, and finally, vocabulary. Ken, you're in the first position. Please make a selection.
I've never said this on TV. Chicks Dig Me for 200, please, Jimmy.
Kathleen Kenyon's excavation of this city mentioned in Joshua showed the walls had been repaired 17 times. Watson.
What is Jericho?
Correct.
400, same category.
This mystery author and her archaeologist hubby dug in hopes of finding the lost Syrian city of Urkesh. Watson.
Who is Agatha Christie?
Correct.
Same category, 600.
At the Olduvai Gorge in 1959, she and hubby Lewis found a 1.75 million year old Australopithecus Boise-eyed skull. Watson.
Who is Mary Leakey?
You're right.
800, same category.
Harriet Boyd Hawes was the first woman to discover and excavate a Minoan settlement on this island. Watson.
What is Crete?
Yes.
Let's finish Chicks Dig Me.
At Mount Carmel in Israel, Dorothy Garrod was the first to find this prehistoric human skeleton outside of Europe. Ken.
What is Neanderthal?
You're right.
Let's go to children's book titles for 200.
Marjorie Williams' story of a stuffed toy that comes to life, the blank rabbit. Brad.
What is Velveteen?
You're right.
MC5 for 200, please.
He's worth every penny as Alfred Pennyworth in The Dark Knight. Brad again.
Who is Michael Caine?
You're right.
MC5 for, let's jump down to 800, please.
Edgar Degas' style influenced that of this female American impressionist. Brad.
Who is Mary Cassatt?
Correct.
And MC5 for 1,000.
The film Gigi gave him his signature song, Thank Heaven for Little Girls. Watson.
Who is Maurice Chevalier?
Correct.
Same category, 400.
The parents of this 52nd governor of New York immigrated to the United States from Salerno, Italy. Watson.
Who is Mario Cuomo?
Correct.
Let's finish MC5.
This child star got his first on-screen kiss in My Girl. Ken.
Here's Macaulay Culkin.
Correct.
Children's book titles 400.
By Judith Viorst, Alexander and the Terrible, Terrible, No Good, Blank, Blank Day. Ken.
What is Very Bad?
Correct.
Book title 600.
By Dr. Seuss, The Blank Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins. Ken again.
What is 500?
You're right.
Book titles 800.
By Maurice Sendak, In the Blank Kitchen. Ken.
What is Night?
Correct.
Book titles 1000.
A classic by Crockett Johnson, Harold and the Blank Crayon. Watson.
What is Purple?
Correct. Taking you to 4,400 and taking us to our first break. We hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. We'll be right back after this.
Yes, so it was Jeopardy. IBM Watson won Jeopardy in 2011. Right? This is Watson is a question answering example of question answering system. Now, what is a Sparkle query? If you ask a question like what is the longest river in the world? So this is a natural language questions. suppose you ask a natural language questions in a system, so system has to do some processing. It has to understand the questions and then do some pre-processing and then return you back the answer from the knowledge graph, right? So it has to fire this Sparkle query in the underlying knowledge graph so that it can return you the answer. Now, what is our job? A normal person doesn't know the Sparkle query, right? So our job is to convert this natural language questions into Sparkle. So the Sparkle query contains various things, right? It has to first we need to declare the prefix. Prefix decides what are the URIs of the subjects and relations of this Sparkle queries. And then it will have this select or ask. Select, ask refers to the interrogative questions, and which are not interrogative questions, those are defined by, those are represented by this select. So it will have only two types of questions, either select or ask. And then it has to identify what is the main variable. So here main variable is question mark URI, right? This question mark URI comes inside the triple. So in this Sparkle query, there are two triples inside the where clause. So one important subtasks in this question answering system is we need to find how will our triples look like inside the where clause, and what will be the main variable inside this, and then what will be the query modifiers, like whether there will be descending order bar, all these terms will be there, or there are various other terms as well, right? Some aggregation terms like count, etc. Whether those will be present in Sparkle query, and if it is present, where will it be located? So all these things a machine needs to do it. Machine needs to find out, right? Now, what are the various existing approaches of knowledge-based question answering or knowledge question answering? So it can be rule-based, it can be neural-based, or it can be combined of neural and rule-based, which is called hybrid-based, right? There are various subtasks involved in this knowledge graph question answering. Those are like semantic parsing. First, natural language utterance to you have to parse the natural language questions, and then you have to find out a parse structure of that questions. From that, we need to identify what are the various entities are mentioned in the questions, and what are the relations, and how will we locate these relations into the underlying knowledge graph. And then we need to form the Sparkle query. So all these subtasks, right? Semantic parsing, entity linking, relation linking, forming Sparkle. This can be either rule-based or neural-based, or it can be mixed of both. Suppose some semantic parsing can be rule-based, and then entity linking you do it in neural method, and then again relation linking do it in neural method, and form this Sparkle query by rule-based method. So it can be hybrid also. And generally, these knowledge graph question answerings are in the form of a pipeline approach. So they follow a pipeline approach. First, they find a semantic parser, and then they find entity linking based on that semantic portion of the question, and then they find relations, and this entity linking and relation linking may be interdependent with each other, and or it can be, independent of each other. So various researchers have done different work accordingly. Yes. So how the knowledge graph question answering data look like?
Swati ma'am, will
Yes.
you please come to the slideshow mode?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And I have a small question in the
Yeah.
current slide, the last one.
Yeah.
That is the hybrid mode possible for all the three subtasks that you have mentioned?
All
The hybrid
Are you saying
approach
hybrid?
for
No, hybrid approach. So I am saying like one approach is neural and another approach is hybrid.
And one is rule based.
Yeah, like suppose entity linking can be rule based, right? This neural based, right? And
Okay.
then maybe semantic parsing you can do rule based.
Okay.
And then relation
Okay.
linking again you can do neural based or rule based. I mean, it depends. But
Okay.
one subtask, how will you combine rule based and neural? That I think not
Yeah.
possible. I mean, one subtask you can do rule based and another, yeah.
Yeah,
neural-based.
fine. I understand.
Okay. Thank you. And this is a data set like LC Quad 1 data set. Here they have given the questions. So basically in these questions, what they give question and corresponding answer, right? So answer in the form of Sparkle query. So this is the corrected question is the question, how many movies did Stanley Kubrick direct? And this is the answer. So this data set has 5,000 data, total 5,000 data, out of which you can divide it into train test, and then you can do whatever you would like to do. And you can, we have developed a knowledge-based question answering system based out of this data and QLE9 data set. So we have our hybrid approach where our system takes input question first. You can get this paper in archive. It will be coming in SCL 2021. So this is input questions. What we do, we parse the input question by some semantic parsing method, which is called abstract meaning representation. And I'll talk a little bit more about this abstract meaning representation in the later slides. And then based on that abstract meaning representation, we get entity linking and relation linking. And finally, what we do by rule-based method, this semantic parsed structure of the question, we convert into logic form, which is very close to Sparkle logic. And then finally, that logic will be converted to, I mean, you can say that is a Sparkle only. And then we fire the Sparkle query into DBpedia to get the final answer. So that is the overall approach. So basically, this is our rule-based approach, rule-based in the semantic parsing to this logic. Okay. In between, these are neural-based, semantic parsing to entity linking, and relation linking. All these are rule-based. Okay. So can you tell me what is the most important part to answer a given question? What may be the most important task? You can unmute yourself and tell me.
Maybe semantic parsing is the most important one. If you understand the problem correctly, then you will process for the rest.
Right, that is the correct answer. I mean, you need to understand the question first, then only we can go to the answer. So how do you understand meaning?
Yeah, that is the most challenging problem now in this time. Semantic analysis is the most interesting area. As a human, we can understand, but as a system, it is difficult to phrase a rule to figure out the semantic meaning of the word.
Right, right. So
through the relationships,
ma'am, go ahead.
Through the relationships between the various entities that are involved in the question, we could make out the meaning. Is it?
No, first we need to understand the meaning. So how will you understand the meaning? You need to get some structure like that relation. Also, you have to understand what is the relation. Right. So so how we can understand easily, but how will a machine understand? How do we understand meaning of a sentence, right? Meaning, we know meaning of words, and we also know how words interconnect with each other. And then when we utter a sentence, English sentence, we understand the context of the sentence. By that, I mean, we understand the meaning of the sentence. But how will machine understand? So to understand a machine, we have this bag of words approach, right? Where we can just tokenize the sentences and then get all the important words, like all the important words, and then understand. I mean, if you think of that, how a child will understand, right? They will try to figure out what are the important terms in the sentence. Afterwards, they try to form a sentence, and they try to understand what is the sentence, right? So can you tell me if these two sentences are same or not? I mean, do they mean same? Children wanted to eat all chocolates. They were tasty. And text 2 is chocolates wanted to eat all children. They were tasty. Are these same?
No, the both have different meaning. Grammatically, both are correct, but semantically, second one is wrong.
Yeah, semantically, second one is wrong. But in some case of, like in NLP tasks, suppose kind of topic modeling, this can go. I mean, we can say these are okay, similar in the form of they will have some all the similar words. I mean, so these are related to okay, children eating and chocolates and all the tasty, all these things, right? So when you work on topic modeling or something, whether it is related to weather or whether it is related to movie, you can find out the I mean, important entities from the text, and you can find out okay, which topic this text is talking about. So in that case, we can say okay, these two are same. But yeah, definitely whatever you said, that is correct. It is grammatically correct, but semantically it is wrong, because chocolates cannot I mean wanted to eat all children is not correct sentence. So that way, by using bag of words, we can use bag of words during topic modeling and etc. Now next is semantic parsing, right? Sorry, syntactic parsing. So what is syntactic parsing? This is mainly used to check grammars, and I mean, how semantic analysis to figure out what is subjects, objects, attributes, and how this one noun is connected to another noun, and how is noun related to that verb. So the syntactic parsing is important for grammar check, mainly grammar checking, right? But what happens for the, I mean, same meaning, you can write two different English sentence, right? It will have different syntactic parts, dependency parse tree. So to avoid that, we can have this AMR abstract meaning representation, or by syntactic parsing, we can we try to canonicalize this. What is semantic parsing? Now, semantic parsing is it is a technique where a sentence is parsed to find out the semantic role, and it can be achieved by various things like semantic role labeling, or lambda calculus expressions, or abstract meaning representations, right? These are the various techniques by which we can achieve semantic parsing. So I'll talk about this abstract meaning representation. What is abstract meaning representation for semantic parsing? Why do we need AMR? So AMR is a semantic representation by which we can abstract away the words uttered in the English sentence. We can canonicalize those English sentences, and it captures many aspects of meaning in a simple data structure. Nathan et al., they have created a semantic bank by human annotation in 2013. So these are the, I mean, they wanted to develop a canonical representation where this aim, in syntactic parsing, you can see whatever the words we have spoken in the sentence, like children wanted to eat all chocolates, they will exactly have the same words here. But in semantic parsing, in abstract meaning representation, they will not have the exactly same words in the canonical structure. It will have some different different nodes and edges depending upon this proposition bank frames, proposition bank frames. And now coming to the what is the history of AMR. So initial version of the AMR was developed by this Lankilde and Knight in 1998. Then this proposition bank and annotated corpus of semantic roles was developed by Martha Palmer in 2003. And in 2013, Nathon et al., they have built a corpus of AMRs. These are totally human annotated corpus. So this is an example of example structure of AMR. Suppose a sentence is the boy wanted to visit New York City. Okay, this abstract meaning representation tells you who is doing what to whom. So the boy who wanted, so here this is called, this want is called focus, right? Focus of the sentence. This is the main verb. The boy wanted. Who wanted? So the boy wanted. So that relation will be defined by argument 0. Who wanted, I mean, wanter will be the defined by arg0 relations here. And arg1 will be the thing wanted. So what he wanted to visit. So visit, this want01 and visit01 will be connected by arg1 or argument 1. Visit where? Who wanted to visit? The boy wanted to visit. So this is again arg0 of visit, right? So these are defined in proposition bank. All these verbs or predicates, whatever you see here, want01, visit01, visit02. So these are called prop bank frames. And I'll give you a link to this where you can explore more about this proposition bank and what are the various frames you can get. Like 01 represent some sense, 102 will represent some other sense, and each frame will have different roles like arg0, arg1, arg2, etc. So abstract meaning representation is basically who is doing what to whom in a sentence. And it's a rooted, traversable, directed, acyclic graph. And mainly edges are relations and nodes are concept. Now, AMR is abstract. It may represent one or more number of natural language sentences. So same, I mean, in English, we can write same sentence in a different way, right? So one sentence, multiple sentence can be represented by same AMR. Also, same sentence can be represented by multiple AMR in a different way. So in that case, focus will be different. So AMR does not contain the individual words in the sentence. AMR nodes and edges. What are AMR nodes? AMR nodes are concepts that can be either a proposition bank frame, or it can be word, or it can be a special keyword like person, organization, or date. And AMR edges are prop bank frame arguments or relation between any two nodes. As I have given example in this, like 01, right? That boy wanted to visit New York City. So there 101 is the node. And also the boy, their boy was there, and city was also there. These are different nodes, right? So node can be either frame or a word, or it can be a special keyword. So what are the predicates here? Here main predicates are this. Suppose this I want to write what are the different frames of run, right? This run 0-1 means operate or proceed, and run 0-2 means walk quickly a course of contest, or run 0-3 is cost, and each will have different arguments, arg0, arg1, depending upon who is doing what to whom. But this 0-1, 0-2, and 0-3 are representing the senses of the word, various senses of the word. Now, how do we represent an AMR? AMR is represented by a Penman notation. It is a directed acyclic graph with a simple tree-like structure. Here nodes are concept and edges are relation. And in each node, a variable is associated with it, like b/boy. Here b means b is an instance of that boy. How do we decide what goes on top of the tree? Like it is a tree-like structure, right? There, so we have to first decide what will be on top of our tree. So based on that, the whole structure of the AMR will be defined. So focus is the main assertion, and that will be in the top. The main, it is also the main verb of the sentence, which sits on the top. Like here, there are two examples, right? The man is at the station versus the station the man is at. So here, this man will be the man is the focus, and that will be in the top. And in the second question, the station the man is at. So the station will be at the top, and the man, the location of. Okay. So these are two different things. Now, can we co-reference a node? Can a node be referenced more than once? So here, if you see reference, how can we reference multiple times? The cow wants to eat the plant. Okay. Now the Penman notation, we need to in that case we need to repeat the variable. So who wants? The cow wants, right? Here want is the focus or main variable. And so who wants this? Arg0 will be wants, Arg0 will be cow. Cow wanted to do what? Cow wanted to eat. So it will be the arg1 will be the eat of cow. Okay, and who wanted to eat again? It will be cow. So this arg0 will be again reference, we can reference it to cow. So here, when you are referring for the second time, we can only just write the variable, not the node. We don't have to give the node name. So this is the instance of the same cow. And this cow is, the cow wants to eat the plant. Cow wants to eat what? This is one of cow. Wants to eat the plant. And this P plant, right? This P is an instance of the plant. So here we always put one variable before the node. And this is called Penman notations. And by graphical structure, we can write this whatever figure we have in the right hand side. Now, how can we represent various relations? So relations for quantifiers. Can we write any quantity or unit as a relations? So here, we can also give like OP1, OP2. These are the options of various relations for given list, like New York City, right? We can give OP1 as new, OP2 as York, OP3 is city. And so the boy ate 2 cookies, right? Here 2, we can give this as a quant 2. This quant from cookie, if we draw that graph, this, I mean, this is the relation cookie, how many cookie? This quant 2. Like this, we can represent the AMR of this question. This, I mean, sentence. Sorry. Now, can we represent, I mean, negation through this AMR? The boy did not go, right? The AMR represents this negation logically by polarity, using polarity. So here, main verb is go, right? Boy did not go. So as it is negation, so here by polarity minus, we can represent that in our AMR. Similarly, how can we represent modality in AMR? The boy must not go. How can we write this in AMR structure? So must not means it is an obligation. So we can write this obligation as a top or focus of our main sentence. Boy must not go. And then as he should not go, it is negation, and then polarity also will be added with that. Now, this AMR is very useful for question answering system. And how can we represent this AMR with unknown variables? So suppose we have a question, how many languages are spoken in Turkmenistan? We can write the unknown things by AMR unknown variable here in this green box, as I have represented this as a green box, right? So how many languages are spoken? So what is the main variable here? Spoken, right? It is the main focus of our sentence. Spoken, where it is spoken in the country. Which country it is? Turkmenistan. And if you see, this OP1 is basically the, whatever grounded entity you can say. So from AMR also can be used for entity linking. Like Turkmenistan, this is the mention of the of that country, right? So you can find that from the knowledge, our knowledge base, and link this entity to the Turkmenistan entity. And from AMR, it is also possible to find out relations and entity both. What are the various applications of AMR? We can, use AMR for information extraction. We can use for natural language generation. We can, that means what, by AMR, we can write the tree structure of the sentence, and then we can generate various other natural language sentences, right? From that, what are the other possible natural language sentences? Similarly, text summarization, we can write each sentences in the form of tree structure, and then find what are the common nodes in between that, and then then we can use it for text summarization. Similarly, we can use it for paraphrasing as well. So when we get this semantic parsed version of the question by through AMR, after have 2 more tasks, what are called entity linking and relation linking. So for entity linking, there is another subtask, entity linking and relation linking for both. There are another subtask which is called mention detection. So we need to first find what is the mention in the sentence, right? Here, who was the wife of US President Lincoln? So Lincoln, here it is given Lincoln. So how will you know it is Abraham Lincoln or some other Lincoln, right? But I mean, so we need to first define what is our mention. So if you give US president also can be a mention, right? And Lincoln. But here for this particular question, our mention should be this Lincoln. So there can be systems which are end-to-end entity linking, where the systems can find mention. It can first detect mentions and then it can link or disambiguate entity from that mention detected. Or it also can be like a system entity disambiguation system where mention is already given to you. Similarly, relation linking. So relation linking and entity linking is basically what? From the question sentence, you take the surface form of the entities or relations and then ground it underlying knowledge. So here, what is the for this particular Lincoln entity, the Abraham Lincoln will be the relevant entity in DBpedia. This is the entity. And this dbpedia.org/ontology spouse will be the relations. Okay. And if we fire this question, Sparkle in DBpedia, we can get the Sparkle, answer of that. Now, after entity disambiguation and relation disambiguation, we can go back. We can develop various rules to get to our Sparkle query. How can we get the Sparkle query? So we have that tree structure of the AMA from where we can get the select or ask, and then we can from the question itself we can get that whether it is interrogative questions. You by some rule based method you find whether it is an interrogative question, so whether it is start by is there any something, it will be yes or no, right? So by some sort of rule you generate, it will have it will be select or ask questions. Now, what will be the main variable? This main variable will depend on the relation linking and entity linking both. So from that tree structure of AMR, you can find out the triples of the relation basket. You can find out the relation basket. What will be the from that nodes and relations of the proposition bank, you can get some mentions for entity and mentions for relations, and that will be eventually linked to the underlying knowledge base. And finally, you decide whether this aggregation keyword will be present or not in the Sparkle query, depending upon the question, how the questions look like. And also this count rule, we have added a count rule, whether this count will be there in Sparkle query or not, depending on underlying knowledge base. So we have okay, what will be the variable? Yes, we have already told this. Whether first thing is you have to select or ask, and then you have to get whether this is a name, place, or etc. Whether next you will find out whether there will be an aggregation keyword present or not. And finally, you will identify triples inside the where clause. So for all this, you can develop certain rules and then build your Sparkle query. So here, suppose the question is which companies produce hovercraft, right? Then produce is the main part or focus of our question. what produce? It produces hovercraft. So this hovercraft, you can see this is a, I mean, kind of noun, okay, or object you can say, and you can ground it to a knowledge graph entity called hovercraft, okay. And this is AMR unknown. So which companies produce? So these companies are unknown that produces that hovercraft, right? So from here we can get this kind of relations like DBO product. What is the company, and then produce predicate. You can derive this will be the DBO product. So this will be the AMR or abstract meaning representations, and you get entity linking and relation linking. From these three, you develop some rules based on will construct the Sparkle queries, which will be finally executed in the knowledge graph. What are the key challenges in KGQA task? First is precision and recall of entity and relation linker, right? In KGQA system, it takes an answer as an entity or a set of entity. And most of the time, KGs are, I mean, many times the KGs are incomplete. So that way it is very challenging. Sometimes we may not find the exact relation, and whatever in English question sentence utterances, that relation, suppose the birthplace, right? We can ask where was Abraham Lincoln born? It can be birthplace and place of birth. How will you disambiguate? Both the predicates are present in the knowledge graph. How will you disambiguate? So these are very tricky in knowledge graphs. And precision and recall of entity and relation linker is important for the pipeline approach to go forward for the higher accuracy for the question answering system. And complexity of natural language system always adds complexity to the question answering system, because the meaning varies if you just tweak the sentence a little. Number 3 is no reliable syntax clue. Sometimes they use capitalization for a place or organization or a person, and sometimes you do not capitalize, right? So these are some I mean, inconsistencies in the knowledge graphs, which adds complexity to our system. Finally, I mean, the degree of uncertainty, error propagation in the pipeline of models influence final result. So error in one subtask like AMR, if you if an error gets added, it will carry on to the next level in the entity linking and relation linking system as well. Similarly, lexical gap and ambiguity also add complexity to the system. So I would like to, can I just end the slide? So I just would like to show one entity linking demo.
Yeah, please.
I need to connect it to VPN, so because.
Yeah, not a problem. We still have a lot of time with us.
Yeah, okay. I think it is taking a lot of bandwidth. Can I just switch off my video for some time? Maybe
Yeah,
then
please do that. It will be better to connect.
Yeah.
I have stopped the video.
Oh, okay, okay, fine. Try to do that. It's not connecting. So this is
Saraswati
how,
ma'am, we can
yeah.
see your complete screen right now. There is a dashboard.
Yeah, I can,
Okay.
you can see, but the thing is, it is not connected to VPN. If I enter a new question, it may not be able to show you then.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe meanwhile it will connect.
Yeah. So here there is a question, right? Which film starring Sam Anderson was released in 1982? This is the question. So we would like to find out what is the entity of film and what is the entity of film, okay, and Sam Anderson as well. So what we do, for our entity linking system, what it takes some left context and right context. What is the left context? If you given a natural language one sentence or multiple sentence where the mention is present, left hand side of that mention is called left context and right hand side is called as a right context. Okay, as this is very small questions, we are giving the whole question as the left context and right context as empty. Now it is connected to it is linked to the film. This is the film Wikipedia entity, okay, and this is corresponding Wikidata entity Q11424, and this is corresponding DBpedia entity. So this is the film it is connected to. Okay. Similarly, here, okay, this is connected. You can give me some question, maybe I can, play around with it. And this is a same question which film starring Sam Anderson was released in 1982, but here mention is Sam Anderson. So we have to give the whole question as a left context and Sam Anderson as our mention. So the Sam Anderson, it gives me top K entity. If you give your what is your top K, it will return those many entities. So Sam Anderson, this is the Sam Anderson, and there are various other Sam Anderson. It gives, this is the rank one entity, this is the rank 2 entity. We are returning top 10 entity here. If you would like to get top 100 or something, top 100 entities, you have to give one more parameter inside this top K value. So it will return you the top 100 entities. So see here, for question number 4, who was the wife of US President Lincoln, right? So here we give mention as Lincoln, and this is question number this is 4. So it returns the entity, top entity is Abraham Lincoln, which is Wikidata. Wikidata is another database which is derived from, Wikipedia only. So in Wikidata consists of Wikidata's entries consist of this QID. So it starts with Q and some ID. If you go to this Q91 Wikidata, see here, this is the Abraham Lincoln. This is the same entity as Q91. So this is the same entity, Abraham Lincoln. Basically, our entity linker will return you the 3 different IDs. One is Wikipedia, one is Wikidata ID, another one is DBpedia entity. So would you like to give some question and see if your entity we can disambiguate or not? Okay, also, there are various other resources. I think I have missed out. What is this? There is maybe I can post it in the in chat board.
Saraswati ma'am, is it possible to provide a minimum viable product, a very small prototype for question answering to the participants?
Prototype to the question answering.
Yeah, means so that they could play upon, they could work upon and grow it.
Question answering system. Okay.
Or maybe small, very small sub modules. Or if there are certain GitHub links available, so that they could at least look into them and try and understand there also.
Yes. So one thing is that you can refer to this paper. Okay, I'll give the reference. Yeah, here you can get one GitHub link. Okay, I'll just post this in the chat. Where is the chat? Do I need to answer it and then I'll get the chat? Okay. So this
It is on the top right corner.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, right.
Yes, this is the link for this AMR, how you can annotate AMR. So what we do in this AMR, suppose we have an AMR bank, right? Where you have some ground truth or gold AMR. We take those AMRs and then we train our some deep learning model where the input and output are given. Input is a question and output is those structures of AMR. And then in the test time, we can give you give that system to some questions and it will return back the AMR. What is the AMR? So there are various research works for this AMR, entity linking, relation linking separately. Okay, and there are also work which together does KGQS system altogether, and they have developed their own individual systems. So this is one more. Okay. So here in this paper, you will get one link, GitHub link. Also, and this entity linking, whatever we have done now, we have taken the whole Wikipedia data, so they need lot of resources. I mean, to run those models, they need GPU. Okay, because all these Wikipedia, we have taken this 5.9 million entity, whatever are there in Wikipedia. So Wikipedia has more than that, but one version we have taken which has 5.9 million entities. So it you need GPU to run those services, and I'll give you GitHub link for entity linking. So I am giving one link. This is for entity linking. Okay, this is very good paper and benchmark paper now. This is called Blink entity linking, and in the same GitHub they have two papers. One is Blink, one is ELQ. ELQ is entity linking for question answering. So they will take the questions and give the entities. It will not give the answer. It will give the entities surface form, whatever is there in the present in the question. So in GitHub link, they will have everything. They can run. I mean, they will give how to run everything in this Blink paper. So we have developed our entity linking, and we have submitted some paper in NeurIPS. Let's see what happens. This is based on the Blink only, Blink, and then we have added some type-based inferencing along with Blink. And question answering system prototype. Let me think something. And okay, this is. This is another system, Falcon, which gives entity linking and relation linking both. I'll give that link as well.
This is Falcon.
Yes, Falcon. So you have used it? Have you used
Not
it?
exactly. Not
Okay.
me.
So if you give this question, who painted the storm of sea of Galileo? So it will return you DBpedia entities and relations.
Actually, are the APIs available for it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
You
we
can,
could embed.
yeah, yes, you can get it. Here only you can explore this API, and then by post method, you will get it. Here, this call post by
Okay.
this you can get it.
Where did you click use our API? How did you go to this API? I didn't see.
No. Here, here is the demo.
Okay, yeah, right. Near the demo, right?
Yes. So demo, if you go, it will give you directly here. But if you go API here, this will give you the how to access the API. See, this is okay. So if we give the same question to our this is our system actually. Our IBM system. We have developed this system.
Is it deployed, ma'am?
Yeah. This is not deployed in the sense this is a service, API service, REST API service.
Oh, okay. API service is there.
Yeah. So this is one Insomnia tool where I'm getting that.
So how to locate the API?
No, that you need to. You need to have this IBM VPN connection.
Oh, right. No, not a community edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you cannot access. out from outside, I mean, without VPN, I cannot access. Let's see whether it can find you okay or not. Oh, no, I gave that. Sorry. What was the question?
Ma'am, any published work for this API, for this IBM work that you have done?
Yeah. So actually, this whatever we have developed in AMR to logic one piece. So that I have given it here in the chat box. There is an archive paper that will be coming in SQL. Okay. And this regarding this entity linking task, we have submitted it into NeurIPS paper, this 2021. Its review yet to come.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I don't know what happened here. I think because of bandwidth, it is not giving. That is actually I have given the link of archive paper that is for whole KGQA system, where we have taken that LC quad data set and then build all the components. This all the components here. So our team from India Research Lab, we have developed that AMR to logic piece. So that means we get one AMR for a question, we get entities, and we get some relation baskets. So relation basket gives us subject, object, and relation, some probable triples. So from that triple box, which one to be selected, that is one more algorithm we need to understand how we can select out of those. And then we developed some rules by which we can get to the logic or Sparkle. So it is not connecting actually. Sorry for the, I don't know why it is not this.
Yeah, but we could have a feel of it definitely, because I have browsed this ArcZip document.
Okay, so that is all. I mean, whereas this, Falcon gives entity and relation both, but our system gives only entities. No, it is not connecting. Actually, the main problem is I am taking this hotspot. With the hotspot, it takes very.
Yeah, definitely. But this insomnia is there on GitHub.
No, insomnia is a tool. You can get it.
Right.
This
okay.
You may not need this. You can get it through. You can access through this also. I mean, by Jupyter notebook also.
Okay,
I mean, any
Jupyter
Python
also, right?
Yeah, any Python. This is only we can get. You may not be able to get. So by here also we can. That is just to visualization purpose. I am doing it here. Easily I can copy paste. So that way I was showing. Otherwise we can do it here as well. Jupyter notebook, get the top entities. So here also for different questions, here you can see the questions. I am giving it from a file. Yes, so that's it, ma'am.
Yeah,
Anything,
thank you so much.
any questions? You have any query or anything?
Yeah, right now for me, nothing. Yeah, dear participants, if you have something to ask the speaker, please. She's in IBM Research Lab, the Indian Bangalore Center. And as she just told that on the logic part, they have worked for this particular project.
Yeah, also we have worked in entity linking. Entity linking task. But in that paper, entity not our entity linking part is described. It's
Yes.
done by the team of IBM.
It was really great, ma'am, to have you with us, and hopefully we'll request you in further FDPs also. We'll connect to you.
Thank you.
And if the participants have any queries, they can post to me later also, and I will be in touch with you.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
For
ma'am.
that.
Thank you a lot for giving me this opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, this is for the participants. We'll connect back at sharp 2:45. We'll open the window 10 minutes before. Yes, of course. So there'll be a test of 50 minutes as already announced on WhatsApp group also and through email also. And please fill the feedback on the Atal portal. It is open today morning. So you can fill your feedbacks on the Atal portal. There are 3 essential components I told you: attendance, feedback, and test. So please, best of luck for your test. Do your best and leave the rest to me. Do not worry at all. Attempt your test the best you can. So best of luck for your test. Fill your feedback on the Atal portal, and attendance we are already collecting from the WebEx platform. Okay, then let us connect back. Yeah, please.
Send the test link at 2:45.
Yeah, maybe 2 to 3 minutes before. At all the 3 places, we will send the
That
test
will be
link.
sorry, I wanted to know where will that be posted, in the chat group or on WhatsApp?
Yeah, all the 3 places we will do it. WhatsApp group also, email also, and this WebEx platform also.
Thank you.
I think that will work.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, and any other admin queries, if any of the participant, please go ahead. For next 1 to 2 minutes, we could take your admin queries, if any.
And the duration of the test will be 1 hour? Same?
It will be 50 minutes. I have just sent an email to all the participants. It will be 50 minutes test and 50 questions, objective questions will be there, objective type.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So 1 minute will be sufficient for one question, and otherwise on an average there will be 50 minutes.
Ma'am, when it will be starting?
2:45.
2:45. So
Yeah,
now
you
the
will get
session is
50.
going to end here?
Yeah, the technical sessions will have ended now, and there will be a valedictory. 2:45 there will be a test, and post test, that is 3:45, there will be a valedictory session for this FDP. So all of you are welcome for that valedictory session as well.
Okay.
Please be there with us for the valedictory.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Then I can drop off, right? Yeah.
Ma'am, there is
Okay, yeah, Saraswati ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Actually, I had a few announcements for the participants. That's why I continued.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. You can continue. Then I'm dropping. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for being there, ma'am.